Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to transfer options data from the option chain onto Microsoft Excel to get delta, gamma, and other levels. So first thing you want to do is open up Excel and run it as administrator. So right click over Excel and run as administrator. You're going to get a prompt and you want to click yes to make changes. Once you're here, go to the bottom left where you have options and then go to add-ons. Once you're on add-ons, you're going to go to the bottom where it says manage. Click on the drop down and select COM add-ins, COM add-ins, and then select go. And then you'll get this pop-up and you want to make sure that you see Microsoft Data Streamer for Excel, and that's highlighted. Once you got that there, you want to click add, and then we're going to select the file that we need in order to run real-time data on Excel. So highlight this and go up to app data, right? So you want to delete roaming, Microsoft, all that stuff, and just go up to app data and then type in local. So you get local to pop up. Go back here, and then you want to type in Thinkorswim. So as soon as you put in T, it should pop up. You see Thinkorswim. And then one more time, we're going to select lib64. You might see 32, but depending on your system, I'm going with lib64. And then this is the file that you're going to want, rtd realtime data service.dll. So just click on that or click OK, and then you'll be back to this screen, and then you want to select OK one more time, and that will enable your Excel to have real-time data come in from Thinkorswim. So once you got this set up, you can now transfer the data. So let me go back to my Thinkorswim screen, and I'm going to transfer data here from let's say Coinbase. So on your option chain right here, right, you want to select the options expiration that you want. So we're going to go with next week, March the 22nd, right? So I'm going to select all the strikes, and then I'm going to go over to and by the way, I have this set up to where I see the delta, the gamma, implied volatility, open interest, volume, and then the bid and the ask, and obviously the strike. So this is uniform on both sides. Then you want to go to the right next to the gears, click here, and then go to export. So you want to see export to Microsoft Excel, and then select that. Once you've got that exported, go back to your Excel and then just create a new one. Well, I've already got a bunch, so I'll create a new one for this video. Blank workbook. And you want to leave some space to the left for your formula, so paste it on E1. You can kind of highlight that so you know where to paste it every time. And then just go click paste. And then you'll have all the data come in here. Since the market's closed, obviously it's not going to change much, but if it was during market hours, this would all be changing in real time. Now, what we want to do is create the formulas, right? So we're going to, obviously, so Q is going to be our strikes, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. So it separates the calls and the puts. Got calls on the left, puts on the right. So we want to get the delta levels. I want to get the gamma. And then I also want to get the open interest by delta value. So let me just put delta OI here. And then I'll do the same for the other side. Oops. Alright, once you got these here, you start putting the formulas together. So for delta, you want to multiply the volume by the delta value, right? So you're going to put equal sign, product, left parentheses, and then select your very first row, which is the 60 strike. So you want to select volume, hold control, and select delta. Now you got, so basically it's going to multiply volume and delta. And there's different ways to multiply this. You can actually just type in Z10, comma, V10, but if you select it and hold control and select the second box, it can work this way as well. So once you got that, now it's basically going to multiply the Z10 by V10, and you get 0, right? Because there's a 0 delta here. So now what you want to do is highlight that cell, which is the one we just multiplied, and we got a 0 value. And then on the bottom right, you see there's a little box there. You want to just drag and drop that all the way down, or just drag it all the way down to your very last strike, which is a 500 strike, and it'll automatically calculate everything for you here, right? And so now there we go. So now we're going to get the gamma level. So for gamma, you're going to multiply the same step, product, left parentheses, except for gamma, you multiply open interest. So you're going to click on open interest, hold control, and select gamma. So now we're multiplying Y10, comma, W10. And then press enter. Now you got the gamma. So obviously this will be 0. 0 times 35 is 0, right? So same thing, bottom right corner, click and drag all the way to the very bottom. You have the last strike, which is 500. And here you'll get your gamma levels for the for the put side. And then here's one that I like to do, the delta open interest. This helps me find support and resistance areas. For this, I'm basically multiplying the delta times the open interest. So we're going to go equal sign, product, left parentheses, select open interest, which is Y10, hold control, and select delta, which is V10, and then press enter. Alright, so now we're going to do the same step, drag and drop from the bottom right all the way down to the 500 strike. And then we've got our put side completed. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for the call side. So on the call side, same step, equal sign, product, and you can do this in different ways. This is just my way of multiplying them. Delta, control, volume, boom. So that was G10 multiplied by K10. And you're going to get 1 here, obviously because the volume shows not NA, not applicable, because there wasn't any action on the 60 strike today. So whenever you see that, it'll just show up as 1. So we're going to go ahead and drag and drop all the way down to the 500 strike. Now you've got your delta. Now let's go to gamma, equal sign, product, left parentheses, H10. So click H10, hold control, multiply by J10. So we got open interest and gamma, and then you're going to get 0 there. Drag and drop all the way down to 50 and then release. Alright, cool. So now we got the gamma, and then let's go ahead and get to the open interest. Equal sign, product, select delta, hold control, select open interest, and enter. And then we're going to go all the way down. And then boom. Alright, cool. So now we got this all settled. We probably want to add these up, obviously, right? So let's go ahead and add them up from left to right. So we're going to go equal sign, sum, left parentheses, and then click cell 125, which is basically your 500 strike, the very first one above the sum. And then you're going to see it's obviously highlighting with the dots going around. And you just want to grab one of the top corners and then just drag it all the way up to the very first strike, which should be cell 10. Release the mouse and just press enter, and you're going to get the total. Do the same here, equal sign, sum, left parentheses, click on the box, drag one of the top corners all the way up to the top, cell C10, release the mouse, click enter, and same process here, equal sign, sum, oops, left parentheses, drag it. Alright, cool. So this is adding up all the numbers that we have here in cell B, C, and D. We'll do it in first cell AA, AB, and AC here on the right side. So equal sign, sum. You can also just type it in AA10, comma, AA125, and you'll see it highlight here. Whoops, why didn't that work? Actually, let me just go back and do it the same way I was doing earlier. I don't know why I didn't highlight the whole thing, but AA10 down to 125, enter. Just keep it simple, equal sign, sum. Click and go. Equal sign, sum, left parentheses, click and drag all the way to the top. Alright, cool. So now we've got all this figured out, right? And you can also do the same thing for your volume, right? So you have volume here at K, and you also have volume. So you can just kind of make this green because these are your calls, and then your volume for puts are coming in at Z. I like to color code them, make it easy. So you got your calls and puts there. You can just do the same process to add these up so you get an idea of how many calls and puts are coming in and get the put call ratio. I mean, those are already kind of given. But if you want to get it for the day, here's how to do it. Alright, cool. So now you got your calls and puts, add it up, and now we can start making our charts. Oh, actually, we got to get the differences, right? So now what you want to do is type in delta sum. Actually, let me put open interest sum here. I'm going to go with, and then here I'm going to put delta sum. So I'm just going to put dex for delta exposure and gex for gamma exposure. So now what we want to do is we've got our delta, gamma, and delta open interest for each side, but we want the difference between them, right? So let's go ahead and start calculating these. So you're going to put equal sign. I'm going to put, where is it? B10, right, for delta open interest, which is right here. So we're going to put B10, B10, oops, minus, where is it, AC10. So we got delta open interest highlighted for calls and puts. I'm going to press enter, and you're going to get the difference, which in this case is 0. But once we click and drag and drop, you'll start to see it, find a difference in regards to all the strikes. And you can see here that the delta open interest, for example, on cell 11B is 0.99, and here it's 0, so you're going to get a sum of 0.99. And so now we'll do the same for delta exposure. So we're going to get delta exposure here. I have it on cell D. So we're going to put D10 equals sum D10. Actually, sorry, it's not equal. So I'm just going to put D10 minus, where's my delta here? AA10. Right, so see on my left, it's highlighted in blue. We have D10 subtracted by AA10. Press enter, and you're going to get your delta exposure here. And just click, grab the right corner on the bottom, and drag it all the way down to the 500 strike. And you're going to get the difference here between your deltas. And obviously this is coin based, so you're not going to see a whole lot of negatives because it's heavily skewed to the call side, so everything's going to show a positive, but I'm sure if you put in a different stock you'll start seeing some negative gamma, or excuse me, negative delta, and so on and so forth. Alright, so now to get the gamma, same process, equal sign, we're going to get, we're going to grab the C10, subtract that by, we have our gamma here at AB, so AB10. So now you see I have C10 in blue here and AB10 here in blue, excuse me, in red. We're just going to get the difference, press enter, click on that same cell again, grab the bottom right and drag it all the way down. And then there you have your gamma exposure there. See, there are some negatives now. So now let's go ahead and add these up. Same thing, so equal sign, sum, left parentheses, click on the very top first box above it, drag it all the way up to the top, release and press enter. Same thing here, equal sign, sum, left parentheses, click, all the way to the top, enter, equal sign, sum, left parentheses, all the way up to the top, and then enter. So now everything is here, it's figured out, right? So now if you wanted to say start making charts, right? So we've got everything here, we've got all our levels. Where you want, let's say we want to see everything that we have here as a visual, right, like on a graph. So I'm going to grab the 150 strike. So I'm going to highlight, click on the 150, which is Q28. I'm going to click there and go all the way down to 350. So I clicked on 150 here. I'm going to click on 350 holding shift. So hold shift, click on 350. So now I've highlighted 150 to 350. I'm going to do the same on the gamma side, on the gex, right? So now we're going to hold control and click on AF28, which is the equivalent to the 150 strike. Go all the way down and click on AF107, which I believe is right here. Hold shift and select that. So now I've got this set up ready to be transferred to a chart. So now I'm going to go to the top left now and click on insert, where you have file home. So you want to click on insert and then go to recommended charts, and you can pick whatever you like here, it's up to you. I like to go to with the cluster, so I'm going to go to bar and then select cluster. Oops. Why is this not showing? Alright, you just leave it at that. So now, okay, that didn't work. Let me try it again, because the gamma levels are so low that it's not properly calculating it, and I'm not an expert on this, so I'm not sure how to fix it any other way than to resetting it. So I'm going to go back to selecting the 150 to 350 strike And this time I'm going to try it with the delta. So I'm going to select here, go back to insert, recommended charts, and you see now how I have the strikes on the left. Earlier it wasn't showing me the strikes on the left. So now that I got this set up, I'm going to click OK. Now my chart's going to pop up. Right, so now I know that between 150 and 350, here are my numbers, right? So now it's pretty simple to add the rest. So I'm going to remember how earlier I couldn't select this here because it wasn't populating on the chart. What I'm going to do now is just grab this right corner and drag it to the right, grab this left corner and drag it to the left. And now I have everything here set up by strike. Right, so now you can just select which one you want. I usually go with the black background, makes it easier to read. Right. Make it bigger, whatever, and then you can see it by strike. So in this situation, based on this color coordination, the orange is going to be your intraday volume based on delta level. So this is going to be your dex or your delta levels. Your gamma is going to be the green. So you're going to have to kind of play around with this and change the colors, but just to give you a visual on what you're looking at right now. And the delta open interest is going to be in blue. So that's what you're basically looking at there. And then you kind of just drag that to the right. And then start to create your, if you want to put the current price of the stock, you're going to just put equal sign E4, press enter. And how do you know E4? Because if you see the price here in cell E4, you can just transfer that by just pressing equal sign and putting E4 in any cell, and it'll give you that real-time price because it's right here highlighted in yellow. Right, so actually let me put a different color. Alright, and then if you want to do the same thing to get your overall delta levels, you just have to, so it's going to be, your gamma is going to be AF 126, so you just put equal sign AF 126. You can just do that by putting equal sign AF 126, and you'll see it highlight, and you can enter that into any cell and do the same thing for AE 126 to get your delta levels, right? So you put equal sign AE 126, and you can just type this in next to your chart and do the same thing with the open interest or calls and puts, because you also have the call volume, total volume here, and the put total volume here. So you can put all these, just know that they're all going to be in cell 126 with the different letters to distinguish them. So you can put all that here, and you have your chart. You just got to kind of figure out the colors, whatever you want to do, based on however it makes it easy for you to see. But yeah, that's just kind of a basic rundown on how this works. Hopefully you guys, I didn't confuse y'all. And the way you want to save this, right, is don't mess with cells A through D, and don't mess with anything from AA moving to the right. So you can go back to Thinkorswim, right? And let's say you want to check, let's say Coinbase for the week after. So you're just going to go to March 28th. You want to go back to the same step, click on the top right next to the gears icon, export to Microsoft Excel. You'll see this pop-up saying it's been copied. Go back to E1, right? You want to take E1, click on E1, go all the way down to your very last strike, which is the 500. Click Shift, highlight everything there up until the volume, which is a Z, and delete it. And then you can just paste your strikes for March 28th. And you see there's going to be some space, which is perfectly fine. You just don't want to overlap it. So typically what I'll do is I won't even put these totals until like cell 200, just to give myself space, because let's say I want to put like SPX on there. SPX is going to take a whole lot of cells, so get in the habit of like creating your sums, like your totals, all the way as far to the bottom as you can. That way you can add different indices and stocks, because they're, you know, based on the price, it's going to have a whole lot of strikes or very few. And it won't affect anything, right? Because when you click on the chart, you can just simply drag it down or drag it up to create a bigger or smaller chart based on which strikes you want to see, right? So this is easy to fix, but just make sure that your sum is, you're giving yourself space to add any indice or equity that you want. All right.